Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for joining us. You're most welcome at this event. My name is Tim Eibel. I am Chair of the Structural Awards Judging Panel and Dean of the Faculty of Engineering and Design at the University of Bath in the UK. This is the first time we've held a live shortlist announcement for the Structural Awards, but what a fantastically exciting prospect it is to do this. This event offers an opportunity for those who submitted a project to find out whether their project has been shortlisted in a celebratory setting. It offers an opportunity for my fellow presenters and me to provide some reflection on this year's process and the shortlist, and it offers an opportunity for us as an industry to stop and admire what we can and do achieve on a daily basis, which is fabulous. Feel free, please, to use the chat box today to share any comments you might have with us and with fellow attendees. At this point, I'd like to introduce my fellow presenters today. I am joined by Jane Entwistle, President of the Institution of Structural Engineers and a member of this year's judging panel. Will Arnold, Head of Climate Action at the institution and a member of this year's judging panel. Susan Broadbent, a Senior Divisional Director of Jacobs, a Fellow of the institution and a member of the judging panel, and Martin Powell, Chief Executive of the Institution of Structural Engineers. Each of the presenters will lead us through one of the 4 key attributes under which all shortlisted projects have been considered. You will hear more about these attributes as we move through the event. Before we get underway, I would like to take the opportunity to thank the Structural Award sponsors, most of whom have been supporting the event for many years. They are Oasis, Griffiths and Armour, Trimble, Walker Dendel, and Warners. I would also like to draw attention to the great work of our charity partner, Red Up. You can find out more about all of them via the Structural Awards website. For the purposes of this online shortlist announcement, successfully shortlisted projects have been grouped by the 4 key attributes of planet, people, process, and profession. We believe these 4 groups define structural engineering excellence. Many of the shortlisted projects are recognized as demonstrating excellence in relation to more than one of the attributes, but for the purpose of this event, each shortlisted project will only appear in one group. In other words, there will be no repetition. When you later visit the website, you will see any other attributes a project may have been aligned to. However, a project allocated to multiple attributes was not necessarily favored by the judges over projects aligned with just one of the themes. The judges were looking for excellence wherever that was to be found. After the announcement is concluded, please do go ahead to the website to find out more about each project. So I think we're ready to get the announcement underway, and I shall first hand over to Will Arnold to introduce the first group of shortlisted projects. Will, over to you.
Thanks, Tim, and hello, everybody. It's been really exciting to be involved with this evolution of the Structural Awards this year and to be a member of the judging panel for our first year under the new format. It's my real pleasure to be able to share with you some of the projects that have been shortlisted against the theme of planet, first of all. So these are projects where the judges felt that the projects put forward demonstrated ways in which the structural engineer and structural engineering can best approach sustainable design, maximising circular economy principles, incorporating efficient use of low carbon materials, and intelligently responding to local conditions. So let's take a look at our first video of shortlisted projects. So there we have it, the first group of projects on this year's shortlist, and some really inspirational projects there. Please do let us know what you think, and put some comments in the chat if you've got thoughts you'd like to share. Now, we're not going to talk through each of the projects individually today, but as Tim said, you can find out more about each of them on the website when it goes live shortly. However, it is worth highlighting a couple of key trends across the shortlisted projects that I thought it was worth drawing out under this theme of planet. So first of all, carbon emissions, obviously. All award submissions this year were required to complete a carbon calculation for the project using the structural carbon tool, giving the project a scores rating. Now, those projects shortlisted against the planet attribute always had exceptionally low carbon footprints compared to what we consider to be average today, and many of them achieved a scores A rating or better, which was obviously fantastic to see. Resource efficiency in the circular economy also featured pretty heavily. You'll see that there are several significant size retrofit projects appearing in the shortlist, demonstrating the potential to create some amazing new spaces through creative reuse of what already exists. And I think we're going to see more and more of that over coming years. Finally, it was really clear to me the strong links between planet and the other three attributes that you're about to be introduced to. You know, to achieve sustainable outcomes, all of these projects also had to exhibit an intelligent approach to the process of design and construction. They typically always had strength in collaboration between the people designing and the end users. And they were always looking to try and do things that drive our profession forward. And there's some great examples of people sharing the knowledge gained through those projects with the wider profession. This year's shortlist is testament, I think, to how our industry is evolving in the face of the climate emergency. And I know that we will see more and more projects shortlisted under Planet in future years. It's now my pleasure to introduce the President, Jane Entwistle, who will share the next group of shortlisted projects with us. Jane.
Thanks, Will. It's just really so good to see those first few projects announced. And the other thing which really struck me seeing it as a presentation like that was what a wide global spread there is of the entries which have been shortlisted. So anyway, hello to all of you and thank you for joining us today, whatever time of day it is with you, lunchtime here or might be middle of the night in some parts, I suspect. Anyway, it's my pleasure now to share with you the next set of projects which have been shortlisted for the Structural Awards 2022. And these are being grouped under the theme of people. In the case of these projects, the judges recognised excellence in collaboration, communication, and creative problem solving. So let's take a look at them. fantastic, wasn't it? It's really good to just, you can feel sort of people oozing through in all of those projects that were demonstrated there. So congratulations to all 11 projects who've made the shortlist. And as has been mentioned already, please do go and take a look at the website if you want some more details. Now, I was actually really glad this year that the judging process has taken on board this idea of bringing people into consideration. And the judges were looking for real tangible links between the submission and the clients and the end users in ways that not only considered a planet, but also the well-being of users and the effects on communities. For me, there were really two really strong threads that clearly run through this group of projects on the shortlist. There's a collaborative, integrated design, engineers being involved in the design process from the outset and influencing and informing the decision-making process. And there's also those projects that truly considered the end user from the start. So as opposed to just being a building that where the end user came on board later, they really had the end user right at the start of the process of the design. And they really went the extra mile to deliver something that's made a positive impact on the community. And as I said before, you can really see that from the shortlist there. So it's now my pleasure to introduce Susan Broadbent, who's going to share the next group of shortlisted projects. Susan.
Thank you, Jane, and good afternoon, or good evening, or good morning, everyone. I am delighted to be involved with Structural Award Judging Panel and to speak on behalf of the process attribute and present a selection of projects that have been shortlisted that align with this theme. The judges found all these to demonstrate technical achievement and innovation, often through the application of new and improved technologies and processes in the structural design. Often this led to greater efficiency and economy in the solution. Let's take a look and see what you can see. Wow, there we have it, a fantastic selection of projects that all align with the key theme of process. Make us very proud of being structural engineers. What's exciting about process is that the scope is vast, which is why we have just seen a list of projects of varying scale, budget, and end results. Please look at the website for more details. Each project outcome visibly demonstrates a blend of artistic appreciation and originality that provide challenging dimensions under the process criteria. However, what unites them in fearless structural engineering is technical expertise and a drive for efficiency. And that is great achievement for us as structural engineers. It is now my pleasure to introduce Martin Powell, Chief Executive of the Institution of Structural Engineers, to share the final group of shortlisted projects. Thank you.
Susan, thank you very much. I don't know whether you can see from the pictures here, but I'm just grinning from ear to ear. As the only presenter who hasn't been involved with the projects to date and the judging, this is the first time I've seen these entries, and wow, they are really fabulous. And it's a real pleasure to see them and to understand their shortlisting and the reasons behind them. Absolutely fantastic. And we're so pleased with the direction in which the awards have been moving since the decision was taken to focus on these 4 categories. And I'm sure you'll all agree that these really are some super projects. Let's now see the final group of projects on the shortlist that are grouped under the theme of profession. Well. Do you know, one of the primary roles of the institution is to see and use the experience of our members to develop industry-wide technical excellence. And so this final attribute of profession was really created to celebrate projects that could be used by engineers to give back and to lead the profession for the benefit of all. And in some ways, this was a really ambitious challenge when we asked you to submit projects that demonstrated excellence in a way that moved and helped move the profession forward. We asked you to show how your projects had inspired others and how you were sharing knowledge from your project with the wider industry and how your work would benefit others. It was a big ask, but the judges were delighted by how many projects demonstrated advancement in thinking and the standards of design and execution, or were able to inspire and educate others. And it's really exciting to see those projects that enhance the reputation of the profession. So before I hand back to Tim, I'd like to offer my own thanks to the judging panel for doing such a fantastic job this year, getting to grips with the new strategy for the awards and putting in place a new robust framework for judging. It's never an easy job, and it wasn't any easier this job, and their commitment is greatly appreciated. And I'd also like to thank our own events team who have been working behind the scenes to support. So Tim, back to you.
Martin, thanks so much. I'm going to be humming that tune for the rest of the day. I can just see it coming. So there we have it. We've got 41 projects which have been shortlisted this year. And you know, some of the chat comments, they're terrific. They're amazing. Wonderful to see. And a fantastic range of projects from around the world, different scales, fabulous. In fact, they're located across 16 countries and with 30 unique companies being represented, which is just great to see. It's always that way. So I urge you all now, please, to go to the fantastic new Structural Awards website, which has been set up by our events team, to find out more about them. A link has been posted in the chat, or you can find it from the iStructE website. You'll find comments from the judges for each project there, which will provide an extra insight, I hope, into how each project aligns with at least one of the key attributes and the judging criteria. So the shortlist will now be widely promoted by the institution, and often this garners major press attention. So please help us with that by posting your work online. That would be terrific, thanks. The winners will be announced on the 11th of November at the annual Structural Awards ceremony in London. If you've ever been to one of those events, you will know that it's a fantastic evening. And I urge you to book places, whether shortlisted or not. An early booking rate is available until the 22nd of September. So if you book in the next fortnight, you'll benefit from reduced prices. You can book tables of 8, or you can book individual tickets. Personally, I would love to see you there. So before we sign off, I'd like to thank again Will, Jane, Susan, and Martin for being part of today's announcement and for their brilliant insights into the key attributes. I'd also like to add my thanks to those of Martin in thanking again all of the judges for their commitment, professionalism, and enthusiasm in the judging process. Your efforts are greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. And thank you so much to the events team for putting on the entire process of the Structural Awards, and of course for today's event. Finally, congratulations again to all of the projects in the shortlist, and thank you all for joining us in this event. Take care. Goodbye.